rope ladders. And if you don't know how, you work yourself to death. You've got to keep yourself in and use your feet to get up. And then you go over and then go down the other side. It would have been nice to have jumped over and broke a leg, but you just don't do those things. But then there's when you go out to the rifle, the shooting range, the different deals. They have the pits. You take your turn in the pits when they're shooting. I don't know if you've ever heard a bullet go past you. You hear them in the Western movies. They sort of hit, but that's when it's hitting, pinging, ricocheting. But when the bullet goes past you, it's cutting the air. It's just like that. It makes that sound. And you're in that pit, ready to mark when it hits the target. You hear that. It's amazing. Then we'd go out at nighttime. They'd shoot a deal where we could hear it, and we'd learn how far away it was, because you could see the flash of the deal. And then we calibrated our thumb. You'd get it at the right place, bring it up. That was so much, 50, whatever it was. When you're telling somebody, when a person is shooting a mortar, they don't see the target. You're up here seeing the target, and they fire one for just for effect. And you tell them it's about so far, 2 thumbs or 3 thumbs too far to the right. Then they'll make the correction, try again. Then when they hit it, now they fire for effect, and then they lob them in. That you take that into, see, they had mortar squads and machine gun squads and regular infantry. I was with the armored infantry. I was a machine gunner on a half track, and at times when I was there, we were leaving the track, going through, clearing out the woods, but that's getting ahead.
Okay. Well, we'll get there in just a moment.
Yeah, I can already feel the cold.
Yeah, okay, well. So you said you were in basic training for 17 weeks?
Yeah, in California.
Yeah, in California.
And one of the drastic ones, you crawl, I don't know if you've ever seen it, you crawl under the machine gun fire. You're up about, they're shooting this high above you, and then you crawl up toward the machine guns. And you get so far, and there's a telephone pole represents a tree or something. You hug it and go over, then you're only about this far. And they're going, you can tell where it is because it's hitting the dirt over here. The time we ran through, crawled through in California, there was 3 guys over here, and I was here, inching along. And they had ran a regiment through ahead of us, and these were water-cooled 30 caliber machine gun. I had an air-cooled machine gun overseas. But they didn't check it, and they run us through, and before we got through, the water ran out, and that barrel would heat, expand or shrink, and it just threw bullets everywhere. It hit the 3 guys on the right of me, killed 1, wounded the other 2, and they blew a whistle and says, "Hold your ground." Now this is at nighttime. And they didn't tell us what it was, but 1 guy killed and 2. But I started cheating. I started inching forward. I'm telling you, oh, this is recording that. I can see it now. You send that in to the military?
No.
Okay. But I went under that 3 or 4 times, 2 times in Texas and 1 time California. And that night with the tracers going, it's weird.
Yeah.
And one time, you go so far, and you roll over on your back and take your rifle and your bayonet and put it under what represents the bottom rung of the barbed wire. Get it over that and then start inching forward on your back until you get under it. And then you roll back over and finish. I was there rolling over and I brought my hand up like this. Oh man, it took me 30 minutes to get my hand back down. No, I did. No, it was just there. No, it just seemed like it was that long. But I was wondering I hadn't got shot.
Yeah.
But you do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wouldn't have had to went overseas. I'd have been home sooner. No.
So when was it that you deployed overseas?
And well, first I finished. I got a delay en route furlough. Come by for 10 days. And then leaving here, you knew from the next place you was going overseas. So it was a weird feeling about maybe the last time. So I went to Camp Maxey in Paris, Texas for 8 weeks of advanced combat training. There they get serious. There they tell you, it says if no one can kill you in training, no one can. And that's why I'm here to tell you that's true. They did stuff in Texas that's, well, we'll get to that tomorrow. No, you're getting put up with me, aren't you?
We're just going to forge ahead.
Yeah, well, sorry, we'll leap ahead in a minute, get through. But anyway, in Texas, we had problems. It didn't rain once in California. It didn't rain once. The first week it rained lightning and thunder and all this metal on you. We was going out on a night problem. I mean, it was raining. We got our instructions and our azimuth, you know, with your compass reading across this open field. I wouldn't have been out there for love nor money with that lightning and stuff, but we did and went across. Happened to look out there. The walkie-talkie was where to find. They told it to come back down for some orientation. That's through. But there's things you do that you wouldn't normally do if you had an election. And that was one or several hundred of them. But to get on down to some stuff in Camp Maxey, we did our bivouacking over in southern Oklahoma. It was beautiful, all this green and growth and the leaves turning. And we were assigned a problem to, well, they said, first they said, we had our gas masks with us. They lay your gas mask here, indicating we wouldn't need them. Then we all had 22s, we were shooting blanks at the cadre. And they had rifles, they could shoot at us and miss us. But they did that in California too. We'd gone down this, like a gully. You'd learn to see if you saw the bullet hit over here, you jump back over here on this side. That's so they'd shoot right in front or back. Anyway, getting back to Texas. Where were we now?
You were talking about bivouac.
Oh yeah, over in it was a bivouac or three or 4 days.
And gas masks.
And the cadre had live bullets. We had 22s. And before this happened, they threw tear gas in on us. They knew what they were doing. They threw tear gas in on us. I can see myself now looking around that huge pine tree, shooting the blanks, wishing it was regular, just bawling like a little baby, you know. But when we got back to orientation, they said, let that be a lesson to you. Do not ever be separated from your gas mask. Now we can move on fast when it's laying in the foxhole tell you a quick story. It won't take long. I was laying there and it got warm under there, and my eyes started watering. I swear I'm down someone was throwing tear gas in on us, but my gas mask was in the half track. I said, if I live till tomorrow, it's going to be my pillow. But I sweated out the night. Okay, back to Texas. After we did that and got back, finished up our 8 weeks, then we were scheduled to go to Camp Miles Standish, a staging area to go overseas in Massachusetts. We went on a long train ride, stopped at Camp Fort Meade for a few extra shots. They like to give you shots and work on your teeth. Then went down to there and was there about a few days, got more equipment. Then we went to Boston. I got on the boat to go overseas in Boston. It was a big, fast one. It went by itself. It didn't need an escort. It had 5,000 officers and us peons. It had 5, 6, 7 decks above water or below water. That was a weird thing. You ever been seasick?
I haven't.
Good for you. Here we were on the boat. It was nice. I was getting sick. I hate to throw, if I can say I hate to regurgitate more than anybody in the world. I've learned to now. But regurgitate, I learned that at Chandler High in biology.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, I hadn't thrown up. I went to what the latrine they called a head, and the Navy guy was in there cleaning up, and I looked through. He says, "What's the matter, soldier? Are you sick?" I said, "No," and then turned around and went the other way. And about 2 hours later, we had an abandoned ship drill. Where I was slept at B deck. That's a little above water. But B deck had to go way up the front, up high, for the abandoned ship drill. And standing there with the wind and getting the feel of the boat, how it was doing, it just left. Oh man, I was grateful. I was so grateful. I went back and tried to get some food, and they said, "No, B deck started eating. You got to eat when B deck eats." So I went and got me a candy bar. It's what would have been a PX, whatever they call it on the Navy. Had that, but I never missed another meal. Oh man, I said to myself, I can't go 6 or 7 days without eating.
Yeah.
And but I was glad not to be sick. Then we showed up at Liverpool.
Okay.
Then we
That's where you landed at Liverpool?
Yeah, he gave me a signal.